actually got a tattoo. Do you want to see where I got a tattoo?
No.
It's not like a bad spot.
I mean, if we can't see it now, then no.
What are you in your 30s? What in the world at the gym? The number of I'm not anti-tattoo at all. It's like the question of somebody in their 30s right now would not be, do you have a tattoo? It would be, how many tattoos do you have?
And in the likelihood of it, like being the barbed wire around.
No, it's the Trinity thing with the like the 3 triangle things together.
Like thin line work.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, it's all trendy. I mean,
Well, it's it's
that generation did a lot to their body.
That
in the
was
early 2000s. It was like tribal and barbed wire and crosses and.
Well, this is what happened when your parents told you don't get tattoos. I think the parents of that generation were like, tattoos, no. And they were like, we're going to do tattoos.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to. But
to the point where it was like face tattoos.
This generation was like, man, I want to Chris Daughtry up my body. Just like.
Well, the question is, how much money do they have saved for removal? Because that's actually trending too now.
Oh, yeah. Pete Davidson's making a big splash with the
Davidson
removal.
got his body back.
He looks like he's just covered in nude colored whiteout now.
It's amazing how odd a normal human body looks without tattoos.
I've always said I'm making the clean canvas the sexy thing again.
Okay.
I'm 47 and I haven't quite gotten that.
No tattoos?
I have no tattoos.
I've got a couple and they were all done pre-30.
We talked about it as a family 2 years ago about getting all 4 of us getting a tattoo, and it would be a playing card, the king playing card, and the 2 red ones would be 2 girls and then me and Jade, so I'd be like
it's
spade and club and heart and diamond, and we were just gonna, not the whole card, just the K with the symbol. And we were talking about where to do it, and then Michelle backed out.
I think
the kids are still waiting for her to come back on.
I think this is a great spot. Just right under the corner of your eye.
I wouldn't walk out of the tattoo parlor alive. Someone would scalp that right off, or just eliminate me from the planet.
Well, now, in lieu of, why don't you get like a Kings Till They Die tattoo instead? Like a fat cat with a baseball bat or something.
Why do you have a fat cat with a baseball bat?
For the Kings.
They're calling their shots to pad the stats.
Yeah. The fact that you have to ask just means we can't be friends.
Yeah. That's why I went with the Make It Beautiful on my lower back.
Ooh. We almost did family tattoos as well, but then, what was the most fun about that was talking about it and not actually doing it.
It was more fun talking about it than doing it. I realized that's what it was for a time.
We were actually sending photos too of like, what about this? Was it going to be a honeybee, like for my father? And it was like, because he was a beekeeper. It was like, nobody could agree on the bee.
I think you should have a beekeeper tattoo with the whole helmet,
with the full veil,
the whole helmet. Sorry,
a full hive.
I feel like in 2020 they just sold a bunch of like home tattoo kits, and people just went hog wild. They didn't know what to do.
It was the Post Malone face tattoo.
That's what Post Malone did. When did you get that tattoo? 2020.
Oh, I'm waiting for Post Malone to now go Pete Davidson and just remove.
Well, there's a guy online whose tattoos are all. Oh, is it Theo Von? Is that his name?
Theo Von is a name.
Yeah, is he the one that gets tattoos of just people's signatures all over his body?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't think it's Theo Von. I've not seen a lot of tattoos on him.
Okay, I thought it was like some popular celebrity that took off a shirt in the parlor, and they're like, "What?" And it's just like everybody's met has tattooed his body or something, or all the celebrities.
That's probably not a celebrity doing that. It's probably
I don't know. This episode is about the Shiloh Battles tattoo collection that you can get on Amazon. You can also get it at the dollar store.
Lick and stick. We don't just have stickers.
Scratch and stick.
Well, I'm going to get this tattoo, I think.
All right, produce. What do you want to talk about?
I like the sticker.
Get your sticker. Shiloh Battles.
It's a little Make It Beautiful sticker, which we just released yet another album. We're on a tear right now. I'm trying to release as many albums as we can.
We want to thank everybody. The overwhelming response to the podcast has been, sorry. I'll stop and wait patiently until you break the silence.
Yeah. Everybody loves a good origin story.
Okay.
There's just a line that stuck out to me from episode 1, which I enjoyed. I don't know that we have another origin story, but
We can get there.
Lots of them, probably.
Origin of different songs.
First song you've ever learned on the guitar when you were coming up.
There was 2. There was a blues song.
It can't be 2.
Okay, so then I'm gonna go with the first song I requested my dad to teach me was "Under the Bridge" by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he showed it to me within 10 minutes.
And this was acoustic or electric?
Yeah, it was on acoustic, and I took the guitar upstairs and
went to town. Never looked back.
Never looked back.
I learned "Mary Had a Little Lamb" on an out-of-tune piano from a generous, inebriated gentleman at a local coffee house. We were at a local coffee house. I might have been 9. And he showed me. I was goofing off, and he walked over and he goes, "Doon, doon, 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 doon," on the F sharp, the 3 black keys, and just showed me how to play it. And I learned it, and that was it. Never looked back. And I have the vivid memory of that as the first song I learned. The actual melody, you know. What about you, Bo? First song
What?
that you learned? Because I know, well, you play acoustic. You're a multi-instrumentalist.
Would I be correct in saying the first song you learned how to play on the guitar was a song that you wrote?
Probably.
Well, that's
some jingly ditty.
Probably true. Probably like Up Dog.
Yeah. What's up, dog?
We've got to record that. It's coming.
Yeah,
he's been asking for it for at least the 14 years I've been here.
Yeah.
Head to kidsmusic.one. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I took like 3 years of piano lessons.
Oh, okay. So first song would have been something.
Yeah, I remember playing Christmas carols, and so I could read sheet music for those 3 years to some degree. And the day I stopped taking lessons, I forgot everything I ever learned. Not inclined.
For the piano, but guitar you seem.
I'm not inclined for the guitar either, but the
guitar is inclined for
simpler. It's easier to pick up and mess around on.
It's a good outlet for what's in the head.
It helps me to calms me, helps me to get into a creative space, think lyrically. I like that. So whenever I'm working on lyrics, I go pick up a guitar. Yeah. Strum around different chords, different strum patterns and rhythms.
It's sort of no forethought, just get into it, start strumming, see where it leads you.
If I get in a groove, I'll kind of enjoy that and maybe hum over it or something. Every now and then I will write lyrics over it, but that's just to get into a lyric pattern.
Yeah. Just kind of free flow. I mean, I relate to that with the piano. That's where I can, which I don't do it nearly as much as I should because I'm constantly doing music in some level, but the times where I can steal away and just turn if it's a keyboard or whatever, or sit at a piano and just play without any real intention, just kind of improvise and just, that's therapeutic for me. Because if I'm structurally playing something now, now you're performing and you're making sure that you're playing it right and you're doing something like that. But just that's where you can get some magic, I guess. Do you do that, Dan?
Yeah. I would say, yeah, I do that often. It's interesting. Sometimes I'll just pick up the guitar and know in my mind where I want to go, but I have no idea what it sounds like. And then I just start playing until it matches.
Yeah, what
And
you're
it's
feeling.
Like, yeah, that's it. It's like I could feel something and then, okay, how do I get that out? And then just like pick up the guitar and just, usually it's like noodling on the guitar for a couple of minutes. And it's like, oh, all right. Then I'll walk away and play it on repeat in my head for an hour. And then I'll be like, okay.
Yeah. Loop. I like to play in a loop, just play a chord pattern in a loop, add melody, and just, so I don't have to go anywhere else, just stay right there. And it's almost like I can detach from what I'm playing and almost just kind of reset.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Cause I was thinking about that this morning. I liked it even 2 chords or, like maybe 5, but somewhere in that range, like just on repeat in a total loop. And that was actually what I was thinking about. I was like, this is what I like doing this, but I would assume it would be really annoying to anybody who had to, who was within earshot. Yeah. But I'm like, I want to stay in this simple loop. And for some reason, I don't know. There's something that's happening where I'm trying to get my brain around what the music is.
I feel like it resets me. Just mentally, like I'm able to just enjoy what I'm hearing, but it's almost like just the sound waves over and over again, that same pattern is therapeutic in some way. Maybe there's science behind it. I don't know. But it's just staying in that same pattern, whatever it might be. Maybe it's 2, 3 chords or whatever, but
that's what it was like for me when it came to the song Take It Slow. Slipped inside your mind for a lazy holiday. That line, I think I mentioned it in another episode too. Like sometimes that opening line,
you're not allowed to talk about it again.
Is what captures my intrigue, and then it's like, ooh, I sense that, or ooh, I can picture that. How do I realize that musically? And then it's like something whimsical about this. I don't know what I like about this. Why? Where am I going with it? And then it's like, oh.
There's something very attractive to a musical loop that stays the same, but melodies can change, to me. And I think that's probably the essence of a lot of pop music.
Oh, yeah.
Where the chord patterns are the same, let's say on the verse section and the chorus section, they can even be the same. Maybe there's some embellishments and some extra instruments that might come in, but the melody shifts, but the chords don't.
Yeah.
So that's, and that's sort of what we see with Take It Slow. It's sort of like just a loop. Melodies are shifting and changing around the pattern, but
yeah, I think that helps me understand, because I know that like in that, I think I'm hearing all the other stuff while I'm keeping that simple bass and able to, which the other music or the other notes or the other things that are happening potentially there without having words for it. Which is kind of fun.
That's, songs are melody. The chords are, how many chords? We got seven chords in a major scale. It's like, how many different ways can you play those 7 chords? Well, it's the combination of that with melody. And then it's like, well, how many different melody notes can you put into a song? Well, at least 8 tones in those chords. And then, okay, so then what are you saying? Where are your consonants landing? Where are your vowels landing in that melody pattern? So it's like that little Rubik's Cube of, okay, here's some familiar chords and here's melodies that might have been combined at different times, but not these words in this cadence with where the vowels land. And that's, I think, sort of the puzzle that we're trying to figure out as we're creating. Each song it can take a life of its own, and you can go, okay, where is this going to fit? Where's this going to land? Hug the dog. What's there to lose?
I noticed that, like, sometimes I'll get real excited about an early version of a song, like just a scratch track of something. And I'll try to share that with somebody because they're like, what are you working on or whatever? And I'm like, oh, check this out because I'm so excited about it. And they just look at me like I have 3 heads. Like, what is that trash? And
What kind of voice memo is this? Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I may have just ruined this for them, in the future.
Yeah. Or you may have gone like, wow, that you fixed it. Thank you.
Well, but I think as we're making stuff, that's what I'm saying. I think we can already hear it. So it's like, we know I feel like when we have something early, that's a scratch track and, something real bare bones and, but it's coming together. Like it's like, oh, that's it. Like we can hear that and love it, before it's produced and has all the instrumentation and, mixed and really put together. But I realized that it didn't occur to me until I had that experience where I was like, oh, check this out. And people are like, why would you do that?
Yeah. Like, oh. Whereas amongst us, if it's like, hey, check this out, and it's just a voice memo and we can all hear it, then it definitely spurs along your, production capability and your, arrangement.
I'm going to have a thought on it no matter what.
You'll spit it out.
Doesn't mean it's the right thought.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's the right iteration, but I'm going to think about it immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good indicator that we've got something to work with. Yeah. And even if we have to table it, it's like, okay, yeah, we know what that sounds like. We can work on that and be productive. It's something that we're already hearing.
Yep. Yeah. Bo sent, obviously we have a bunch of songs that are streaming now, but we've also got a bunch of songs that are, in very early stages, if not even any melodies around them, maybe just lyrics. But this week I was working on, there's a song we have called, is it Living This Good?
Yeah.
Living This Good. It's a great little ditty, but I did an iteration of it a while ago. And then I saw the lyrics again and I just did a completely so now I have, and you guys haven't heard it yet, but I think, Bo, you've heard the early iteration. It was sort of country-esque, but I went in a totally different direction. How different can this melody be to what I had here? Juxtaposition, you know what I mean? Just to explore it. And maybe neither one of those are what we all go, okay, this is, or maybe it's an amalgamation of those, who knows? But there's no rules to how many melodies you can put to the same lyric, and so that's always fun.
Well, the song Make It Beautiful would be a good example of that. Like with two different versions of the title track on the newest album.
Yes.
Make It Beautiful. And like the first version of the song we liked.
Yep.
Like I can get it back in my head. If I try real hard, I can find it, because I found it in my head the other day and I went through the song and sang it in my head that way. And I was like, that's a really cool song. I mean, like that's pretty. And it captures the essence of the lyrics pretty well, but I don't like it anywhere near as much as, a different version, of the exact same lyrics.
That was the power of us being together too.
Yeah,
it was, because to that point with that song, Make It Beautiful, I really liked that first version. And it wasn't like, we can't rewrite it, we can't rearrange it or anything. It was more like, okay, let's see.
You really did like the first version.
I really did like the first. It had a great hook. It was, so I keep that voice memo on. No,
we have a full version of it.
No. The version that exists, the one that we release, is by far the best. The options that we had,
and it was something that we all did together.
Yeah,
like we were in the same space, and there was some more of that type of vibes when we were listening to it. And, you're a horrible vocalist, by the way.
So the worst.
Really got no range.
I'm just humbled to be here.
Yeah. If we could just get you to sing, low and high, instead of just always being stuck in the middle. No, but you have a high range. You can sing high, and you have this, this beautiful high, I guess would be high tenor. Would it be tenor?
Yeah.
Call it high tenor. But
bordering alto.
So you, go ahead.
The reason for that,
okay.
In the context in which, we work together and we're leading worship, you're looking for song keys that, guests can sing, male and female, and it's
Sure.
in a range and a key that
You're not
everyone
leaving
can
people in the dust.
participate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that I do have a wide range allows me to sing in a place where females can sing without having to jump an octave, which is really hard for females to be able to
Right.
do. You know,
In a
other than
congregational
males.
setting, yeah.
Because males have a lower range, they can probably hit a couple of octaves where females can't. So it lends itself there, and maybe that's been the go-to for developing anything else musically. But bringing that down like we did in the Make It Beautiful album, especially for that song, what I love about that vocal range for that song is it's coming from it's a vulnerable place, I think. Just in to have it sung in a lower register, I kind of hear the vocalist there realizing that there's not much they bring to the table other than yes, and so it's kind of like, take my mess and do your best. It's like talking to God and being vulnerable and keeping it simple, and that's all you've got.
It's less about the vocal performance.
Yeah, and it's more like everything else about this is something that he brings, you know. Does that make sense?
Did you have a thought on that, Bo? I have a thought about.
Go ahead.
Everybody,
I do.
Everybody loves a great origin story. In our first album, Shiloh Battles by Shiloh Battles, novel available on Amazon. I was like, okay, Dan King, he's got this range. Like, I want to hear, like, every song on that album is pushing you into that tenor, high tenor, victims and villains. Like you're shredding pulled chicken, so it's like a lot going on there. Then it's like progress, soul. And I was so like in love with that sound. And so that first album was how to pull that out of you. And then now we fast forward, we're in Make It Beautiful time, and we're sitting there. And I remember having demoed it out, and it was in a higher register. And then when you got the guitar in your hand, I'm just going like, he needs to sing down.
That song went, nee, 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 nee,
yeah, I was like lower, lower, lower. And then Bo was like, Bo was like,
more of that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I think lyrically it matches with what's happening there lyrically really well, and was very pleasing to me to hear it sung that way, because it is a song that is like acknowledging, all right, this is who I am on my own, but this is who I am with you, God, and it's very declarative in that sense about who God is and who He declares that we are. And that is a powerful, powerful thing. And particularly in music, the genre we might call worship music, that kind of more masculine sounding voice. I'm not trying to just put labels on everything, but that kind of more masculine sounding voice has been largely absent for quite some time. And so to have a song that is vulnerable and honest and raw, and also very declarative about who God is and who we are in relationship to Him, to be in that tone is so refreshing.
Yeah.
Like that's what I was experiencing. I was like, more of that. I'm like, the lower you go, the more refreshing this song becomes.
I experienced that too. I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a power to that. And to my ear hears that, it echoes, it tends to reverberate more in my soul. And which is, that's what music can do. That's one of the things music can do. It just gets in you and it bounces around and echoes and remains. And with that kind of tone, it does that.
I agree. It's that entire song, as you listen to it front to back, for me personally, by the time I get to the last, let's say, 4 bars of the song, where you're singing and Find a way to make it beautiful. You are beautiful. Da, da. And you just kind of take that melody and you bring it even lower. And then the music's just riding out. It's like I get the goosebumps at the end of that song every time I hear. It doesn't matter. Like as soon as it starts going, it's like I'm just trucking along. And you've said some things, and it's like you said, it's just reverberating in my soul.
Yeah.
And it's just like
it's got this less of me, more of you vibe to it.
Well, I've tried multiple times. Some intention, like really been intentional about just listening to the song, particularly as we were kind of working it out. And then, like checking the mix, adding, maybe do this or that, and just really trying to listen.
Producing it out. Yeah.
And then since it's, been mastered and, now it's on the album and presented, sometimes I still try to do the same thing. I can't get to the second chorus without singing. I cannot do it. Like no matter what I do,
you try to not sing.
I try to not sing and, but you are beautiful. You are life. I'm beautiful. You are right. And you found a way to make it beautiful. You're beautiful. Like I can't not join my voice in with that. And that's incredible to me. Like
that's a great lyric. You found a way to make it beautiful, because it also implies, and I hear it in the voice too, being in that lower register too, of like, Lord knows I've tried to make it beautiful, and I found that you have found a way to make it beautiful.
I think most people have a hard time with that. Most people have a hard time. I think most people can acknowledge that there's something beautiful externally outside of themselves. Look at those beautiful mountains, or, oh, that's a beautiful person, or, that's a beautiful car or something. But like being able to see the beauty in yourself because you were created by one who is beautiful. It's a hard thing to chew on, for a lot of people.
Well, it kind of runs contrary to a lot of thought and teaching that is within our modern expressions of like evangelical Christianity, that, you're horrible, you're bad, you're no good, the world's going to hell in a handbasket, people are awful, the fallen nature really taking over, but they're created in the image of God. And then we're being recreated in the image of God. And why is someone beautiful? Because he declares that they are. And to just to agree with him on that, to agree with God on something is insanely powerful. To just be like, you're right, God. You know what? I've tried to make it beautiful. I think that's what people are doing too. Nobody's out there like going, you know what? I'm going to get married and I'm going to trash this marriage and I'm going to ruin it. And just get ready for, try to learn as much as I can to get ready for my second marriage. Right. Like, that's not what people are doing. They're not like, I don't want to hurt the kids. I don't want to, they're like, I want to love this person. I want to be committed to, I want it to be a beautiful relationship. But even in the midst of all of that, we bring pain and ugliness and destruction, but God looks right to the core and he makes a declaration. And when we start living out of that identity, not based on what I do, but who I am and who he declares that I am, that's where life really gets beautiful in the midst of the chaos and the mess and
not
in spite of it or absent of it. It's in it.
In it. Right. That's exactly right. In it.
It's like that. Is it I'm reminding of the verse where it says the beauty for ashes, like the exchange. He brings the beauty. We might be bringing the ashes, but he's bringing the beauty. And I think that's what that song is really, because even like lyrically, if you read the lyrics, it's, the chorus is like talking to and being talked to.
Right.
Right. So there's a juxtaposition happening like in the chorus, and it's a trade happening in the lyric, which is super powerful. Not masked by over singing. So it's like the truth is just hitting you, So,
yeah. So, I mean, I can very seriously say that no matter what people say about you guys, I think you're beautiful.
You are right.
You are right. I am beautiful. Well, what happens out of that acceptance, as people might hear that and begin to believe that, and begin to align themselves with that truth, because it's either a truth or a lie, right? What's the middle ground? So it's either what he says about us is true, or he's a liar, and he's not a man to lie. He's not a liar. So he's saying what he's saying is true. We are beautiful. What does holding that truth and living in that truth mean? What is make it beautiful?
Well, I think it's coming right back. Well, I don't know if I'm going to answer your question, but it is coming right back to agreeing with God. And like, if it's like we can get way out on the peripheral about agreeing with God on all these like really, really like wide tangents of stuff and say that, that's kind of the beta test on, whether or not you're, godly or holy, is if you agree with God on, kind of extreme things. And as opposed to like the most basic thing, who am I? And who is God and who am I in relationship to God? To agree with him on that is the fundamental thing. Not all these, tangential things way out on the extreme edges. But those are a lot. I don't feel like a lot safer, like to get out there on that stuff and fight and argue and debate and whatever.
Majoring on the minors.
Yeah. Just lose yourself in all of that. And you lose the plot, you lose the reality of life and we make it about all these other things. So to make it beautiful is he makes us beautiful. And so everywhere we go, we're bringing beauty. Every time we speak, if we're speaking out of that identity and agreeing with him, then our words are beautiful. The things that we would do then would be beautiful things. And so it's adding to the beauty, and as opposed to it's adding life instead of death. And I've had enough bringing death, killing dreams, killing the mood, discouraging someone, hurting, and the wounds that are there. I'm not interested in pursuing any of that. I don't want to build up and lift up and encourage and add to the beauty.
I love what you said. It's powerful to agree with God, and even in this sense of, okay, I am beautiful. I come to terms with that because that's what he declares that I am. You're going to speak differently. You're going to behave differently. You're going to see others differently. Now others become beautiful, like, oh,
you can see the beauty.
Yeah.
Well, the flip side argument would be, one of them, there are probably many, but would be like vanity and pride and things like that. But when it's not based on those things, self originating things, it's based on what God has done and what he says. So it's very different, but because I think people know what it's like to look in the mirror and go, ugh, right. At what we see, and we just keep applying that like inwardly. And you can work on yourself all day long. You spend your whole life working on yourself as opposed to living out the work that God's already done. And what a difference.
Yeah.
Just totally night and day difference.
Yeah. It's like the difference between the accepting the beauty in some kind of building that is just, maybe it's not perfect, but there's richness and there's history and there's something there beautiful, instead of 25 years of scaffolding just around this building because we're trying to make it what it was, or what it should be, and you're not even able to enjoy that beauty. It's like, how are we measuring beauty? It's not that external thing, right? Like you said, looking in the mirror, because the external beauty fades, as we can see when we look in the mirror, but it's the internal beauty.
I mean, you know what it's like when you see somebody and you're like, he's beautiful.
Yeah.
Or she's beautiful. And not in the classic sense of, on a magazine cover or in a movie or something like that. There's something in the eyes, or there's something in the countenance. There's almost like a glow or things like, yeah. And that beauty is there. And I'm seeing it more and more as I agree with God. It makes the world more beautiful because I'm looking at it through a different lens, and to see people through his lens and what he sees, you start to see that beauty really resonate from people.
And there's an innocence in that too. Like it's like a return to innocence, in the heart, because I don't know that you would see, I don't know many people that would see a small child, baby, toddler, and be critiquing the beauty of that child.
Oh, I do. But yeah. My son Ace was an ugly baby. Like shockingly, like what happened here?
You didn't make it beautiful.
He's a good looking man. He was a great looking, 2-year-old, but baby, no.
Yeah,
fair enough.
I've heard a few things. Visiting the hospital after delivery day and like coming and be like, oh, the baby's beautiful.
So let's delve into
stop
ugly
lying.
babies.
My baby looks like an alien. I'm like, okay, that's a good point.
I mean, that is a fact because I have seen a couple of children that I've just questioned them, but they do grow into it. If you're an ugly baby, you're probably a cute toddler.
I was just reminded of when I was doing student ministry. We had a student in our middle school ministry, and she had like a really, really unbelievably challenging childhood. A lot of abuse, had been orphaned or put up for adoption. Her parents were out of the picture, and it had been brutal, and was in a good home and being adopted. But her countenance was so hard and understandable, and she was quiet, but there was a patience that, everyone in the student ministry had with her. And I remember we were doing an event, and I got a call that she wanted to be baptized, and, that she had decided that she wanted Jesus to be her Lord and Savior and wanted to be baptized. And I was like, oh, cool. And they're like, yeah, we're going to do it right now. I was like, great. So they baptized her in a swimming pool. And when I got there to the house where they were at, just to congratulate her or whatever, she walked up to me, and I looked at her, it just came right out of my mouth. I said, you're beautiful.
Wow.
Like the hardness, it was just gone. And it was a different person. And it was, I'll never forget that moment, and not even being, I couldn't stop the word, and it wasn't weird or anything, but sure. You're beautiful. It was amazing. How physical, what we're experiencing emotionally and spiritually, how it manifests physically. And that's an important thing for me to remember, because sometimes, I look at somebody and, their features are hard, or, they frown, or they seem mean or angry or something like that. That a lot of times there's something going on that's manifesting physically. And so to be patient and kind and generous. And
that's a good reminder. Yeah. Our countenance can show what's really going on the inside. And walking in that grace, being gracious towards others. Oh, what a powerful story. Yeah. Because it's almost like that was washed off of her in that baptism. And you saw something changed on the inside of her, and it immediately showed on her countenance. And that's beautiful. And we do get to see that a lot.
I'm sorry. I'm smiling because you dropped a song title reference.
Did I?
A few minutes ago, and I haven't escaped it since. So
what was it?
You said "Return to Innocence."
Oh, is that a song title?
Enigma.
Oh, is that "Return to Innocence"?
Yeah, there's a line in there. It's like, I might botch this, but don't be afraid to be weak. Don't be too proud to be strong. Just look into your heart. my friend, maybe you'll see the return to yourself, the return to innocence. Well, it's a little more, it's introspective and then maybe does, I don't know, have anything to do with God or anything like that. But just, but if we do search inside ourselves, we could see how he has wired us and how he's made us fearfully, wonderfully made. And I mean, I can get there with that song, but I was just,
Yeah.
just
No, I
mentioned the
didn't
song
know.
title. I'm like,
But
Return to Innocence is big.
well, yeah, I mean, think about what that does to you when you're in guilt, and you know, it's like you're very on guard. You know, is the jig is up? You know, am I going to be found out, or are people going to know? Is there going to be punishment? What are the consequences? It's a very difficult space to live in. That's why I always, you know, I try to remind people that, you know, they're like, well, you know, people out there are living in sin. They're just, you know, having their fun. I'm like, sin is not that much fun. Like there is a fun and a full life and an abundant life, and it's full of love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control that sin destroys. And there's a misery that comes out of that and a guilt. And so the continual return to innocence and to who God declares that we are, and him removing the guilt and the shame and taking that and believing that and receiving that and living that out, that it really is a beautiful place, because then you can be vulnerable. You can, you can engage relationally with people without all the walls being up, the defenses. Because we walk around, I know when I'm defensive, it's because there's an issue.
Right.
Like, it's like when Christians are angry and they're out there defending God. I'm like, God does not need you to defend him. Like, he's fine. Like, you know, I gotta take my stand and, you know, defend the faith or whatever.
My daddy's
like,
stronger than your daddy.
Just live out the faith. And I don't mean that I think that's real strength. That's not wishy-washy.
no, that's confidence.
That's actual
pure,
strength, and being like, oh yeah, no, that's okay. I understand where you're coming from, or, you know, you don't agree, but it's okay. I'm not offended or hurt or wounded by that. But yeah, the defensiveness is usually coming from a place where there isn't innocence. So
no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, and no matter what's been done to you, you are beautiful.